The phrase "to make a long story short" is an idiom that used to indicate that you were about to summarize a lengthy explanation, providing only the main points of the conclusion without the details. Yeah, the primary use is just to get the point out quickly. It's varied over the years of how we got to that point.
Hello, and welcome to the Mochiverse. I'm Linette,
And I'm Skip.
and you made a long story short.
It's a long story short. We did see. I actually made the long story short.
It's true.
Uh,
That's true.
yeah. See, you didn't get that. That's why.
I did.
Okay.
Of course, I got it. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's something that you and I aren't usually very good at,
That's true. That's absolutely true.
as evidenced by our podcast.
Yeah, exactly. In context, usually it is a polite or informal expression, for it's suitable for, casual conversations.
Right.
There's variations of it, which is what you like about the common British
The
English
common British,
version.
yes.
To cut a long story short,
Yes.
and the modern internet version abbreviation is TLDR.
Yes.
Too long, didn't read.
Too long didn't read. I love that one. And
Yeah,
it is a nice social cue too, because the art of conversation is fascinating if you actually sit there and analyze it.
yeah,
Uh, because basically when most people say to make a long story short, it's usually number one because they realize they've been going on for a bit.
right.
And number two, they can kind of read the room as far as like, I think they want me to summarize this.
Yeah, I think you and I talked about this, and I brought this up more than I care to say. Uh, about the tweezer story.
Yes. Yes.
And the tweezer story, just for all of you that haven't heard this before, is that we had this vendor come in and talk about tweezers, and this guy knew everything about tweezers. And when I say it that way, you really understand. After a while, your eyes start crossing, and you go, "I really don't care," but they can't, because they're so into the minutia of the details, and it's
Yeah.
their passion. It's hard to criticize it, but you do understand it.
Oh, sure. And you need experts on things. And it's, as a matter of fact, if you ever have any questions about tweezers, now you know who to ask.
Exactly, the tweezer guy.
The tweezer guy.
Uh, you know. So to make a long story short, I got
Yeah.
fired. That those that's
And then somebody be like, what happened? And then the short
yeah,
story
there you
becomes
go.
long.
That's how. Um, it's funny, because the core idea of abbreviating a story has existed for centuries.
Yeah.
Specific. The phrase dates back to the 1800s. Henry
Hmm.
David Thoreau is an early user,
Wow.
writing in his 1857 letter, not that the story needs to be long, but it will take a long time to make it short.
I like Thoreau. He was a really interesting dude. We should like maybe do a focus episode on him. He was very interesting, and he touched on a lot of different parts of history. Very neat.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think reason I sort of picked up on that, because a lot of folks, I hear that more, hey, to make a long story short, and a lot of times that long story short actually being very long, and you find that, you probably find it, and I find it too, is that when I start talking about something and it needs more detail,
Yeah.
maybe about halfway through, you notice the focus of that other person is not there anymore. They're not listening
Yes.
to your story.
Yes.
Uh, and that's where I kind of like, if I can do it, is the quick hits.
Yeah.
Let's not go into a big explanation of it. Just say, I guess maybe it's, now that I think about it, maybe it's the way I do things, is that I'll say something and it requires on the other person's part some thinking to understand what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And my favorite kind of conversations, which is like you and I do this, and actually, Stacy and I were doing this when we were talking Thursday, and Richard and I do it all the time, and Bev and I do it all the time, is when you're having a great conversation, you start in one place and then you end up 50 miles away,
Oh
like
yeah,
because of all your tangents. And
yeah,
then one thing that you say might spark something in someone else, and then you
yeah.
talk about a complete and the way that you can go from subject to subject and be like, wow, we talked about like literally everything in the last hour. That's the coolest thing, instead of
It
just
is,
making small talk.
yeah. You and I talk about we talked about this where I'll all of a sudden say, I just had something flash in my mind when you
Yeah,
said this.
yeah,
And that kind of gets us off into these different tangents. Not really a rabbit hole, more of a tangent,
yeah. I like it
which
because
is a
it can
different
lead
thing.
to
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah, it can lead to like such interesting conversation instead of just talking about one subject forever, you know.
right.
I,
Mhm.
I think it's very cool. Speaking of multiple subjects,
Speaking of multiple subjects, I got a few multiple subjects, and I've got
yes.
some quick hitters, but I got some little bit longer ones.
Okay.
There's a village, a small village in Antarctica called the Villa Las Estradas.
Oh,
And it's a small village and a research station. It's so remote that people have to have their appendix removed before arriving because the
yeah.
nearest hospital is 600 miles away. So there wouldn't be time to get to the hospital to an appendix related emergency.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was established in 1984 and home to about less than 200 people. Fort has 14 homes, a bank, school, post office, gym, a hostel, and even a souvenir shop.
Oh, wow.
They're most of the people are scientists, you know, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and guess what? Dogs aren't allowed because
Uh,
because they can harm the delicate wildlife.
I was gonna say
Instead,
because of the
yeah,
movie The Thing.
something like that. No, I actually, it's probably something different than that. But you're right. That's a good reference. Instead, the residents get to live alongside penguins and elephant seals. Now, dogs around those kind of animals would probably be an issue. They'd be chasing them. So,
That's true.
yeah,
That's true.
and maybe in an extreme, eating them.
Yes.
So I got another one here. This is
Okay.
Longyearbyen in Norway is the world's northernmost settlement. It's an
Oh,
island called Spitsbergen. How about that? It's
Spitsbergen.
not too far from the North Pole. Despite the extreme cold and remoteness, people from 53 different countries call this place home.
Cool.
There is an interesting rule: dying is forbidden there. Yep, yeah, you heard right. It's if someone gets really sick and is about to pass away, they're immediately flown by airplane or shipped to another part of Norway. The reason for that is it turns out in the extreme cold, bodies stop from decomposing in the cemetery.
Right.
So it's so cold that it's even nature's way of recycling doesn't happen.
Right.
Recently, scientists took tissue from a man who died a long time ago. They found traces of a dangerous virus that caused an epidemic in 1917.
Oh,
So they decided it's best not to have bodies buried there anymore. Now, here's another fun fact. I get this. Citizens are allowed to move around with high-powered rifles.
oh,
Yeah. Why? There's 3,000 polar bears roaming around the area. So just in case they're ready to keep themselves safe. Guess what? Cats are forbidden in that town. Why? Because those very adorable furry friends pose
yes.
a threat to the bird population.
Yeah,
So
they
to
do.
protect the
Yeah.
birds, cats aren't allowed. It's about keeping a balance in nature. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that makes sense. The thing you said earlier about the appendix, right?
I thought that was funny.
It's funny, but it's also very practical because there have been multiple instances of researchers stuck on these Antarctica research stations who've had to perform surgery on themselves. There was
Yeah.
at least one appendix surgery, and there's that woman who performed like a breast cancer surgery on herself to remove like a tumor in her breast.
Yep. But
Um,
she was in Antarctica, right?
yeah,
Yep.
she was in
Yeah.
Antarctica. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Oh, the death thing. So I heard, and I don't know if it's true, I heard that it's also like against policy for people to die in like Disney World or Disneyland. And
Yeah.
they do the same kind of thing. They get you out of there first so that you'll die somewhere else. Because you don't want to, and Parliament too. Isn't that a thing? Like you're not allowed to
It could
die
be,
in
yeah,
Parliament, so they get you out of there first so you could die elsewhere.
that's right. You'll not die here.
Yeah, nobody dies here. You can die like right outside the gate. Thank you very
That's right.
much.
Yeah. Yeah.
That kind of reminds me of a cat thing because like, you know, cats
Yeah.
always cats when they puke. They always like to puke on the rug, right? So you
Yeah.
see a cat and dogs too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
They're
Oh
starting
yeah.
to do that thing. You just pick them up and push them over to like the tile.
Get them outside or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
it's pretty traumatic if you think about it. If you were about to like get sick and somebody just grabs you and throws you like at a toilet,
Yeah.
it's kind of like,
I
hey,
know.
I'm
Hey,
trying to do this.
what?
That's so funny. The first thing I wanted to talk about is the penny because it's been in the news.
Yes, they stopped making it.
Yeah, they've halted production is
Right.
the official term because there is actually so you can halt production
Hmm.
on currency, uh,
Right.
but you can actually not take currency out of circulation without an act of Congress.
Right.
So the production of the penny has been halted, which is actually kind of a I guess some people think it's a hot button issue, but there's people on both sides of the aisle, so to speak, who've been arguing for this for ages.
Hmm.
It
Yep.
costs twice as much to make a penny as
That's
it's
right.
worth,
Mhm.
just because of the metal. And and also like just the fact that we have pennies makes our system of buying things so much more complicated than it has to be where it comes to taxes and things like that. There's other countries that don't have the penny that just have regular numbers for their prices. You know, you don't end up paying 364 for something.
Yeah, well, that's obviously that's a psychological thing. And when you say the penny, I just throw this thought at you.
Yeah.
Now that the penny's out of production, how do you get change for a nickel?
That's right. They would literally have to make everything in denominations of five or zero because you can't. Yeah.
You can't,
If they took it out of
and
circulation.
and
Yeah.
that's why, by the way, I maybe the underscore the argument of why we didn't do the metric system was
Yeah.
because it would outlaw our 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 coins.
Right.
Because our coins are based on 1/5, for example, for the penny.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Oh yeah.
that's yeah, exactly. So true. By the way, I don't know whether it's a internet thing, which is sort of, you never know on the internet what exactly is going to be. But I saw that they were proposing a coin, which I think it'd be more desirable than some of the other things, would be a new uh, $50 coin that would
Mm-hmm.
have Batman on it. Now, see, that would be better than some of this other foolish things about putting, certain people on a coin. So,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, they get yeah. I mean, you could
okay.
always do commemorative stuff. But
Yeah.
it's funny because it makes such news when things like this happen, but it's really not the first or the millionth time really that we've
No.
changed currency. I mean, we used to have a half penny
Yeah.
up until 1857.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Half penny. Oh, well, yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So, but I got a couple of little facts about pennies. The Lincoln Memorial penny, um,
Mm-hmm.
if you spin it on a table, it'll land on tails 80% of the time,
Hmm.
just because of the design of the weighted design of the
Weighted penny.
engraving.
Okay. Mm.
Yeah. And from 1793 to 1857, pennies were 100% copper. Um,
Okay.
but they've since been made from various metals, for usually war shortages, things like that, cost reasons. Right now, modern pennies are about 97 or 98% zinc with 2 to 2.5% copper like plating, which is interesting. And then there was a thing about this guy, Robert Weschler. He was an artist and he made this sculpture. I think it was in 2024. Took him 7 years to complete it, and it's made of 100,000 pennies. It weighs 540 pounds, and it's like in the form of a cube. but when you look up close, it's like all the pennies are strung together by wires. And it's like a
Yeah.
solid, yeah, thing. It's very neat. Um, I mean, the only thing the first thing I said when they said they were going to take the penny out is that I need to start collecting them because I always wanted to make a penny top table. I haven't done it yet.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a
Hmm.
table that I wanted to do it with yet. I wanted to do it like on an outdoor table. Uh, and I don't have that. What I really wanted to do is get one of those, those big wire spools that people use for tables, outdoor tables.
Yep.
I
Mhm.
wanted to get one of those big wire spools and make a penny top on that. And that would be a cool little
Yeah,
outside table.
there was a trend at one point, people were making coffee tables out of them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. For me, for my design style, it would be more of an outdoor thing rather
Yeah.
than an indoor coffee table. But you never know. One of these days, I might decide to look like I'm outside inside.
So when you talked about the pennies, it all of a sudden flashed on me about dimes.
Yeah.
At one point, before I think before 1965, they had the dimes were made of a combination of silver and copper,
Oh, right.
right? But they changed that, and the reason they changed it because silver actually was worth more than the cotton. It actually turned out to be made the dimes. It goes in a different direction where the dimes are worth because of silver content. The dimes are worth more than a dime.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah.
And what's really funny about the composition of our coins and the fact that it costs more to make a penny, for instance, than it's worth.
Mhm.
Uh, Back in times before a lot of our technology, we could we could remedy that by just making it thinner or smaller,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
But we kind of can't even do that now because even like a Coinstar machine, when you
Mhm.
pour your coins in
Oh
and it
yeah.
gives you money back, it does that by
Right.
measuring weight and
Right.
size and
Yeah.
things like
Yeah.
that. So you couldn't even make, for instance, make pennies thinner or smaller like dimes are,
Right.
because it would mess up. I mean, a lot of pennies don't go in vending machines, but it would mess up a lot of things like that, a lot of
Right.
automation. And if it was too close to the size of a dime, you could use pennies in a vending machine and mess it up
Yeah.
that way. Like, remember slugs?
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Well, and that's kind of, there was a time when the Canadian coins were the same way.
Oh, they still mess up the Coinstar machines. Yeah,
Yeah.
you won't take it because they're sensitive enough. And even if you have one of those banks that does that, sorts your
Hmm.
coins for you. And if you work in a retail space, there's machines that will help the employees there to
Hmm.
count down their cash drawers using machines to pour the stuff into. And that would like change all of that stuff. Maybe it would create jobs for people, but or people in the technological sector, but like it would
Yeah.
also mess a lot of stuff up that people already have.
Yeah. I would think that the way that it seems that we are going is towards a cashless society
That's true.
where you even find that the need for coins is not as prevalent as it used to be.
I find that that's true in a lot of businesses that aren't our business. Like, I think that grocery stores and retail stores, like pharmacy type, are still always going to use cash as long as things cost under a certain amount.
Right.
But
Hmm.
if, I could totally see a place like Best Buy never using coins again, or like an appliance place or things like that.
You can argue there's pros and cons both ways. My concern about a cashless society is that because there's a cost to processing, it seems to me it's the impetus for doing it
Yeah,
from a business standpoint
right.
is, and I could be wrong about this, but this is my thought on it, is for example, if you're you and I have talked about this about manufacturing, all of a sudden you have a 5% profit margin. That's a
Hmm.
very low profit margin, but you have a 5% profit margin. And all of a sudden, uh, that profit margin is shrinking. So you have to find ways, short of growing your business, which isn't always practical depending on the economy,
Right.
you have to find a way to keep your income stream where you need it to be to get your profit margin. So the way they do that is fees.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my argument. It is my argument about software, where it used to be you'd buy software and you'd own it, where now you're basically renting it. And I think the impetus for doing that was that companies who manufactured software found that their profit margin wasn't what it needed to be. So they have to find another way to keep their profit margin and their profit cash stream or stream, whatever you want to call it, being continuous. So the way they do that is by having people make payments.
Yeah.
So, I know I just went into this long.
No, I mean, but you have a point about the fee structure thing too, because company I work for is a large company
Right,
and it has the luxury because of its largeness of structuring their payment systems to where, for instance, people don't have to sign when they use a credit card and
right,
people don't get fees for small transactions with a debit card.
right,
Uh, that company pays extra for those things, just
right,
like the gas station pays extra so that you don't have to sign at the gas pump.
right,
But if only big companies can do that when you're buying something for under $1,
right.
it's practical for you to use a debit card. If only big companies can afford to eat all of those fees
Mhm.
to not pass it along to the customer, all the smaller companies aren't going to be able to do that and they're going to get edged out just like they get edged out for other reasons, So that sucks.
Yeah, I saw a story recently on the news, and we don't see these stories often enough. And this person was running a bar, which
Yeah,
is really uh, a small business, but
right.
uh, some people look at it as a bar as like, okay, you pay $5 for one glass of wine, which the wine bottle itself may cost you $5.
Hmm.
Well, the reason for that numbers is obviously it's salaries, rent, and stuff like that. But another one, which is hidden, is that people are paying with cards, and
Yeah.
everything is just exactly what you just said.
Hmm.
Every time a card is processed, there is a fee from the bank to process that card. Now, sometimes that can be, as low as 1%, but many times it's 3%.
Right.
And you take 3% of a sale, and all of a sudden, if you have, 10 people at 3%, you could be $3, $30, depending on, what the cost of the service is.
Right. And if you pass that on to your customers, they're going to be less likely to come to your place because people would, they have to stop too soon because they have X amount of cash in their pocket.
Right,
So if you tell them, yes, you can use your debit card without having to pay a fee, they're going to be like, wow, I could spend twice as much as I normally would because
right,
I don't have cash, but I have twice as much money in my bank account.
right.
So it is worth it in the long run, but but it's still a fee that you're absorbing because of that hope that most people will spend a little more because it's not money in their hand, you know.
And that's kind of, it used to be, it's funny that you say that because it's like it used to be that this is where the cashless society has been going, is it used to be able to, I won't say used to, if you were using a card, you had to spend $15 minimum.
Yes.
Okay. Nowadays, and I find we do it ourselves, is that make purchases of $3 or $5, because we don't have that cash on us.
Oh, I got people paying
Now,
60 cents with their card. Yeah.
yeah, so uh, if you think about that, there's a fee for using that card that the business has to pay. So that obviously that cuts into their profit margin. My overall point is, if we go into a cashless society, there has to be some sort of adjustment for the small businesses, just like we are just talking about,
Yeah.
so that they don't get pushed out because
Right.
they can't absorb the fee, and they
Hmm.
can't charge more because they'll lose customers.
Right. Right. Yeah,
You
it's a
know,
problem that will have to be solved. And I think it's like any of the problems that are supposed to be solved. It'll get partially solved, and then a lot of things will fall through the cracks, and it won't go as well as we hope.
what we've talked about unintended consequences. I talk
Yeah.
about that all the time. It's just
Things that not everybody has thought of. Yeah.
that's right. It's like when management makes a decision, what I call a knee-jerk reaction. We've seen that recently in a few things, and that knee-jerk reaction has these unintended consequences down the line, which are overall, they're generally not acceptable. They may be acceptable to a small portion of folks, but you know that's the problem with this knee-jerk reaction, and it's just what you talked about,
Hmm.
is that in order for us to really go into a cashless society, there has to be a change in the banking system and how things operate.
Right.
Uh, you can't fault a business for wanting to maintain a profit, and you can't fault the business for being able to charge for a service, because really processing a credit card purchase, it's a service, so anyway. So we have gone in a rabbit hole on that one.
We
So
sure have that. Hey, welcome, folks, to the Mochiverse.
yeah.
I have some animal facts if you want to talk about
Okay,
animals.
cool.
Um, Octopuses, which is, by the way, the acceptable term rather than octopi. Octopuses is
I was
the
gonna
good
just gonna
plural.
say, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they don't say octopi anymore. It's like out of fashion to say octopi
Right.
now.
Okay.
But they have three hearts.
Wow. On
They
their
also have,
sleeve? No.
yes.
Okay.
So they have one heart that's like their main heart, and then they have two other like auxiliary hearts that kind of take care of the limbs, which I found interesting. They
Oh,
also
okay.
have, they say, like if you go online, it'll say that they also have nine brains, but they actually don't have nine brains. They have like one main brain and then eight what's called ganglia, which is like an
Okay.
offshoot of the brain for each limb. So that's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about that, a little bit of, as I think about it, is that
Yeah.
the heart is really a pump. So, but
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you need, and especially if you have a lot of extremities, you're going to need like multiple roots, offshoots coming off of that pump to have it
Right.
work properly.
Mhm.
Octopuses are really interesting. Like I've
Mhm.
watched so many documentaries just about them, and they're fascinating creatures. They're definitely aliens. Definitely proof that something came from the universe, landed on Earth, however many years ago, and that's what we got. Let's see. Frogs, they use their eyeballs to swallow. So,
Okay. Now, okay, how do they do
so you know
that?
how they have the big round eyes.
Yeah.
So what they'll do is while they're swallowing, they kind of push their eyes inward, and the back of their eye kind of pushes on the back of their throat to kind of help them swallow their food.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like if
Hmm.
you had, yeah, I can't imagine anything on a person that would be the same thing, but yeah. And sea otters, which are very cute. They hold hands while floating. I don't know if you've ever seen them do that.
Yeah.
Um, but it's for a reason. It's not just because it's cute. They hold hands so that they won't drift away from each other while they're floating. It's very
Hmm.
adorable. And let's see. Oh yeah, jellyfish. Did you ever hear this thing about jellyfish being theoretically immortal?
Yes, I've heard that. Yes.
Yeah, so jellyfish, they have different life stages, kind of like different kinds of fish, they'll start off as a little, or like frogs, they'll start off as a tadpole and then they'll go into a different form. Or like
Hmm.
certain insects start off like a little wormy type thing and then they'll go into a different form, like a pupal stage. Well,
Uh-huh.
jellyfish have like a stage called the polyp stage, which they're
Yeah.
not an actual jellyfish yet. They're just like a baby jellyfish type thing.
Hmm.
And jellyfish have the ability at any time to just revert back to that polyp stage. So usually they'll do it to preserve themselves in some sort of dangerous environment
Hmm.
or, something that's going on or climate or things like that. But if they can do that, and they can do it in any number of times that they want. So theoretically, a jellyfish could start off as a polyp, grow into a jellyfish, go back to a polyp, just millions of times forever and ever until it never died, which is pretty cool.
Hmm.
Let's see. Houseflies, their buzz is almost always the key of F,
Well, hmm.
which is very cool. Let's see. Hummingbirds, which we were just talking about a few days ago, they're the only known birds that can fly backwards.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no word, though, on whether they can carry a coconut if there's enough of them, but probably not. It's just African and European swallows. Uh, and dolphins use pufferfish to get high. You've heard about the thing like fugu, that pufferfish dish that's like can kill you if you prepare it wrong.
Yep. Yep. Hmm.
So pufferfish have a toxin
Right.
that is to protect themselves if somebody might bite them, they would get that toxin in them and they'd be dead or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, so dolphins found that if they kind of handled the pufferfish, some of that toxin would get in their system, and it wasn't enough to hurt them, but it was enough to give them like hallucinogenic effects, and they use it
Hmm.
just
Well,
recreationally. Yeah, to get high.
recreationally. Okay.
Right, right. Isn't that funny? And dolphins are interesting because, Richard sees a lot of dolphins when he's surfing.
Hmm.
Um, and if you're a surfer and you do see a lot of dolphins, it can either be a warning for you to kind of move away because wherever there's a lot of dolphins, that there's a shark.
Hmm.
Um, but it can also give you some comfort because the reason why there's a lot of dolphins around a shark is that dolphins will actually protect other animals from sharks
Oh, okay. Yes,
by
I know.
sort of,
Like, yeah.
yeah, by like sort of circling around them, like kind of going, hey, 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 go over. It's almost like they're sheepdogs,
Mm.
like
Yeah. Could be.
wrangling the sharks away into a different place. They're like,
Right.
no, why don't you go over here? And it's like,
Yeah.
why do they do that? Like, are they doing that because dolphins are playful and they're fun and they're just like doing that? Or do dolphins actually have empathy for humans?
Hmm.
I wonder. I mean,
Yeah.
dolphins are cool, but I don't know if they're that cool. I don't know if
Yeah.
they, I don't know if, well, I don't know if humans deserve the empathy of animals, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Some do, some don't. Yep.
Yeah, some do, some don't. So that's my animal fact.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I've got a few. These are towns, and correct me if we haven't said these before.
Oh
It's
yeah.
more. It's kind of likely that you've brought up some of these. Um, Nameless, Tennessee.
Oh,
Yeah,
neat.
Nameless, Tennessee. Uh, Legend has it residents left a blank space on a form for the post office. So the government gave it the name Nameless.
Huh.
Other people say it was a protest when a Confederate general's name was rejected. So they just said,
Oh,
okay, we'll make it Nameless.
yeah, we'd rather
Uh,
have no name than that general's
right,
name.
exactly.
Yeah. Hmm.
Normal, Illinois.
Oh yes.
The name comes from a school called Illinois State Normal.
Oh, you know about those schools, right? The normal
Yeah, no,
schools?
normal, yeah.
Well, no, those were the schools that they put Native American kids in
There you go.
to
Okay.
segregate them. Yeah,
Yeah.
those were the normal schools. Yeah, not good. They basically put them in there to teach them to be our culture and to erase their culture. So,
Okay.
yeah, not good.
Pity me, England. That's a signpost welcoming visitors to this northeastern English village. As
Oh, there's a lot of good ones out there in other
Yeah,
countries,
I
let me
know.
tell you.
Yeah, yeah. It's in country Durham with dozens of oddly named villages in northern
Yes.
England.
Yes.
Just down the road in the village of No Place, where
Yep.
the Penned Hills in Cumbria is a great cock up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Further north in Northumberland and Blanket Hope Bum Ha Post, it's the longest name in England. The residents of Cotton, Hope, Burnfoot, a short walk up the valley, pointed out their village name is longer by a single letter, but officials have ruled that it should be 2 words. So it's cotton, hope, burn, foot. 2 words. Okay. You know, yeah. So no one knows this. No one knows what, if anything, but was once brewed in Northumbrian town of Once Brewed, or indeed the neighboring village of Twice Brewed. There you go.
Well, in England,
Yep.
there are some fantastic place names.
Oh, there's a few more here, which maybe
Oh, yes,
you
give me
might be
yours.
going into these.
Yes.
Further south, Yorkshire groups the villages of Crockpot,
Yes.
Fangfoss, Scagglethorpe, Blubberhouse, Slopeworth, Wet Wang, Great Fryup, Sizzling Bacon and Sausages. No, okay.
Yeah, it's a great fry up,
But
huh?
the names make you think of sizzling bacons and sausages and
Oh,
fried eggs.
perfect.
Yeah,
Oh, perfect.
okay.
They also in Britain have a town called Bitchfield.
Mhm.
There's Boggy Bottom, there's Twat,
Yep,
Shitterton. I've seen the sign for Shitterton.
yep.
Um, and Crapstone, of course. There's Nether Wallop, there's Brown Willie,
Yeah.
of course, Butthole Road, Great Snoring, Sandy Balls, Barton in the Beans. I mean, there's a million of them. We could just do a whole episode just saying that.
Yeah, there's bunches like back to this pity me is it testifies the influence of the French imported to Britain after the Normandy invasion of 1066.
Yeah.
There's like maybe this last one, I don't know if, oh, there's two more. Peculiar, Missouri,
Yes.
where the people were trying to come up with a name for their town. They realized that all the good ones are taken, so they settled on Peculiar. They thought it too strange to be duplicate,
That's better than boring Oregon. So,
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, Pooh, India, Random Lake, Wisconsin, Rough and Ready, California. This is a good one. Used to be a gold rush town. Its name for a mining company named after President Zachary Taylor, who had the nickname Old Rough and Ready.
nice.
You just brought up the one, Scratchy Bottom,
Yes.
Smug, Poland. That's a good one. We get some people around here. The Smug, Ugly, Oogly, or whatever you want to call it, Essex, England, is named after someone named Ugga. Anyway, that's
That's
someone.
great.
It's kind of weird. Just think about. I often think when I see some names of towns, you'd say, you write your return address on it. This is, I'm from Pity Me, England, whatever. There can be some places that you really want to say you're from, but other places you wouldn't want to.
Well,
So
yeah, even streets, like, sometimes I think they don't think of everybody when they're building a street and when
mhm.
they have a nice place to live. Because, like, there was this poor guy years ago in a town I used to work in, and you'd say, I asked him what the address was, and it was Pillow Lace Lane. And can you imagine, like, having to go say that as a dude? Like,
Yeah,
the wife was fine with it.
yeah,
Oh, isn't that nice? We can live on Pillow Lace Lane. He's like, seriously, I can't live on like Booyah Avenue or something. Like, can I?
yeah.
Like, I want to live on Big Manly Truck Road. Like,
Yeah,
you know, like, I don't want to live on,
about Pink Carnation
yeah,
Way,
pink
so
carnations.
all those manly man thing wouldn't
Yeah,
say.
exactly. I'm so pretty. That's all right. Because the cats, I mean, nowadays it's easier because you don't have to be ashamed of things like that anymore, which is great.
Yeah,
Um, But imagine, like even you back in the day, you used to think that the only real dogs were big enough to be big dogs. Can you
that's
imagine
true.
if like, your wife made you get like a Chihuahua trying to walk that thing? Like you would have had a big problem with that a lot of years ago.
I almost got a Yorkie one time.
Oh,
Came very close to getting one. And
I
it
think that would have
reminds me
pissed you
of
off.
of a story about my uncle who was like, macho man. And he always had big dogs. And by the way, that influence about the big dogs probably comes from him.
Yeah.
Uh, well, one time, well, his wife wanted a small dog, so he had a big and a small dog. And one time, one of my brothers was driving and happened to be driving in the neighborhood, and there's my uncle walking the small dog, and it was a female dog, and his wife had put like a bow on it,
Oh yeah.
and you just can't imagine the grief that he got for that. Uh, but yeah, I hear you. You know, and
It's more normalized now, though. A lot of times you'll see like big, huge Spanish dudes walking tiny little chihuahuas, and it's nothing. It's fine, which is good. I'm glad it's fine, but still.
yeah, yeah, I've changed. You know, I've changed a little bit on the philosophy of the big dogs, except the mainly because there's a protection for our dog, which is not a small dog, but it's what's called a medium-sized dog. But even the
Yeah.
larger dogs bother me now. You know, I'm cautious around them, but that's just that's a change that you have over the years. So
Yeah, it's a lot more high maintenance, a lot more intrusion on your life, and you have to have a certain expectation of your possessions when you have a big dog. Nothing is precious to you.
yep,
Uh,
yep,
namely your windowsills and your furniture.
yep.
Like even if they're like well-behaved dogs, they're still gonna like break stuff just by being the big,
Just by
huge
being
things.
big.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's kind of like with cats, if you have cats, there will be a time when something of yours gets destroyed,
Yep.
as
Yep.
as you know from my own example. So
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep.
whether it's furniture or books or whatever it is, they decide to mess up your rugs or something. Who knows? Whatever it is, you kind of take that. Like with kids,
Yep. Oh,
kids, you
for
just
sure.
can't have nice things, I guess is the
This is
moral of
true.
that story. The only thing I have left
Mhm.
is a little list of some inventors who were successful inventors, but they may
Mm.
have had one or two unsuccessful inventions as well. Just a cute little thing.
Yeah.
Like Nikola Tesla, he was pretty successful in his time. But he was trying to invent a thought camera that would project mental images, and it
Oh, hmm.
didn't work yet.
No, I
Um,
didn't think so. Yeah.
no, not yet. Now, Alexander Graham Bell, you know him for the telephone. He had a
Yep.
couple of other failed inventions. He had invented a metal detector, which a lot of internet sources called this a failed invention, but I don't think it was a failed invention so much as the people using it, trying to use it, weren't understanding the surroundings. So this metal detector had failed to locate the bullet inside President Garfield when he was shot.
Yep. Yeah, because he was on a spring bed, right?
He was on a spring bed. Exactly. And that's why. Now, that's not the fault of the metal detector. It detected metal just fine,
Right.
I think. Right? Not
Yep.
exactly that fault. It might have occurred to you that there were metal springs in the bed, but hey, what are you going to do? But he also tried unsuccessfully to breed sheep with extra nipples. I
Uh,
don't know why. Yeah,
just because he could.
I guess as he could. And Edison. There's some things going around that Edison tried 10,000 times to invent the light bulb. And he had 10,000 failures before he invented the light bulb. He didn't actually invent the light bulb anyways. He just invented a more efficient way of a light bulb actually working and staying lit and
Right.
being practical. But the sources are on the internet talking about his 10,000 failures, but he actually corrected this by saying he didn't fail 10,000 times. He found 10,000 things that didn't work.
There you go.
Yeah. And as much as I don't like Edison, that's absolutely true.
And that is the way inventors work.
Oh, that's how it's supposed to work, right?
Right.
I mean, you could be an inventor, but if you want to be a successful one, you have to have something that works. He was also kind of obsessed with concrete. I don't know if you ever heard about this.
No, I didn't hear about that one. No.
He proposed an entire house out of concrete, including the furniture and like a piano made of concrete and a refrigerator made of concrete.
Huh.
Didn't take off. He also had like this talking doll that he wanted to do. You know how Edison was working with sound? He
Right.
did those wax cylinders like that, the phonograph and all of that. He invented this talking doll, but I think it was like too creepy.
Hmm.
I mean, not like all talking dolls aren't creepy, but yeah. So that was not a successful invention. But I love inventions that didn't work. They're more fascinating than the ones that did. I mean, inventions that work have furthered furthered us in a lot of cool ways, made things easier for us and stuff. But failed inventions will never not be entertaining.
No, they would never not be entertaining. And the thing about a house made of concrete, they actually have done that. I mean, not there's the newest type of technology, and they're still working on perfecting it, where the whole house is poured of
Right,
concrete,
right.
including the rooms and everything. They've done it in different parts of the country.
Yeah.
Uh, it
I just
it's
realized.
not really. I think it's like anything else. It's not really taken off, but at some point, uh, for practicality reasons, the reason we get to a lot of things with material shortages or whatever will cause a change in how things are done.
Right.
Uh,
And I also realized that this is the third time in just a few episodes that we've been talking about concrete. Is this a concrete podcast now?
yeah, it's a really solid thing to talk about.
Oh no. Oh, speaking of which, those are coming up, aren't they? Do you have any
Yes, they
other
are.
do
Yes,
you have
they
any other
are.
little facts first before we
Yeah.
get into the
No, I think I'm all. I
gadgets?
think I think I'm fact out.
Perfect. I exhausted my list too. So, all right, folks. I think we're about to embark on the unknown. But before we do that, if you want to send us an email, mochiverse@gmail.com, MOCCIAVERSE@gmail.com. You can rate, subscribe to us on any of the podcast platforms you use. I've been having trouble with Spotify lately. I don't know if they're working on it, but
Yeah.
Spotify, we're on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, which is like, you might refer to still as iTunes. We are on YouTube, actually, even though it's audio only. There is a picture, very nice picture of my grandfather on there. But you can get the episodes through YouTube if that's easier for you.
Mhm.
But Amazon Music, just anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And if you know somebody who might be interested in our facts, just like let them know about it. Tell them to search for it. If you just Google Mochiverse podcast, you will find us and you will find a good way to listen to us every 2 weeks. So please do that. And before you decide whether or not you're going to keep listening, just listen to this next segment because it's a doozy. The dad jokes.
Do you know what the worst possible moment for an atheist is when he feels full, but he has no one to thank.
Wow.
Sorry, when he feels grateful. See, I left out the
Grateful.
great just to see if you were listening.
Oh, yeah. I'm always listening. You
Great.
know that.
Yep. So listen, I went to buy some camouflage pants, but I
Yeah.
couldn't find any.
Couldn't find him. Nope.
Couldn't find them.
Nope.
Did you hear about the cannibal who chose Five Guys as his last meal? Hey, listen, I told my wife her eyebrows were too high. Yeah, she looked surprised.
Good. That's
Yeah,
good.
the sink told the toilet, "You look flushed."
Nah.
Yeah, a sad strawberry is a blueberry.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because the broom was late because it overswept.
overswept. Yeah. We might
Yeah,
have done that one before.
yeah, I think we have. What's the difference between a 100-meter dash and a leaky sink?
What?
One is a little run, the other runs a little.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. What's the difference between an onion and an accordion?
What?
No one ever cries when you chop up an accordion.
Oh, I would.
What's the difference between a bed bug and a man sleeping with snakes under his bed?
Oh,
Yeah, one creeps over the sleepers and the other sleeps over the creepers.
oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah. What's the difference between an abacus and a flaky friend?
Oh, what?
Yeah, you can count on an abacus.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. What's the difference between an Italian barber and an angry circus performer?
What?
One's a shaven Roman, the other's a raver. Raven Showman. Sorry.
That's good.
It's like
I like,
I get my merds mixed and I didn't
yeah,
know.
but that's
Yeah.
Raven Showman.
Yeah. What's the difference between a prison guard and a microbiologist?
What?
Nothing. They both watch cells.
Oh, very good. Very good.
There you go.
That's it. Oh my
Not enough of
goodness.
that.
Enough of that. Okay. Well, I couldn't agree more. All right. All right, folks. I guess we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.
Bye. Cool.
Very good.
Yeah.
Daddy wasn't finding a pow wow. Daddy wasn't finding a pow wow. I've got a little cat. I'm very fond of that. I'd rather have a big pow wow.
I just wanted to say one more thing. I found a really funny picture. I might actually make this. It's a cross stitch,
Uh-huh.
and it says the first rule of passive aggressive club is, you know what? Never mind. It's fine.
Ba-dum-bum.